If we were not original, no one would be scared. Or give up, forget it all, and breathe each other's air. We are all the same inside, but no one hurts the same. Nothing you can take is mine. We breathe each other's air. One world, one world, one world. We are one world, one world, one world, one When what we have is meant to be, it could burn out like a flare. Just look up at
it as soon as he sees it, trying to peek out hut side, but now the off is just, oh, nasty peek coming on the boiler room, hoping that one of these CTs on the other side that baits out the pit player. That AK spray just reaching him, but both of them die. Gets a headshot with that AK. Amazing, that triple team through the box, but the MAC-10 gets him on the other side. He didn't see him coming through the smoke, and now Nonstop Skills stuck on the other side of the smoke on Arch side. That nade just killing him. Now it's down to a 1v1 Dark.
At some point, the CT peeks out early, anticipating it.
Oh, what a nasty headshot from Dark.
Fortunate position, as if he peeks on either side, like that side,
Then he's going to get taken out. Taking out one of the CTs, aggressively pushing in the secret area, and then AK spraying him out. Gets out Dark.
Now he's looking at double doors. That T just walked out right from double doors, and it's not naded out. So he thinks he's safer than he is. Dark with a nasty flick.
Even been the same position. Volty taking an early peek once again. He's just deadly with those, waiting for these CTs to rush to retake the site with two fully armored and rifled opponents.
It's down to a 1v1 Nightcry trying to find the visual on the box, but Milorad taking out both with the Glock.
For aiming in the wrong position. He takes him out while he's full blind. He might be able to pick up that M4 while he's distracted. Volty with the 1-deke, but he didn't peek into it. The M4 taking out the bomb carrier. Now Dark is the last one left alive in a 1v1, but he's not expecting him coming from the right side, but he flicks over to him just in time.
Wild child, fire starter. starter.
I'm a wildfire, hit you like a blast. Ooh, baby, I'm a wildfire. Straight from the block, no, I cannot be stopped. I'm a wild child. Hit you with the hot style. Ooh, baby, I'm a wildfire. Straight from the block, no, I cannot be stopped. I'm a wild child.
I mix the Gucci with the Louis.
We're all from Toronto in Ontario. I'm the coach for these players. I make sure that they're practicing every day. I make sure that their skills are sharp, their reflexes, their aim. Our play style for AbsoluteStuds, it's quite basic as far as Counter-Strike play styles go. When you have a high skill level, there's no need for gimmicks in the play style. There's no need to do anything special. Just play the game like it was meant to be played and you're going to succeed. We have some of the best chemistry out there. We've been friends for a long time. Expect a good victory from the AbsoluteStuds. We're going to win like you've never seen anyone win before.
One, but the other one's planting behind the box. Red left in a 1v2, sniping them with the Glock, and Dark getting taken out. Now it's just down to a 1v1. Nightcry trying to find that visual on the box, but Red taking out both with the Glock, peeking out on Dark, carrying his side with 15 kills. So as soon as Dark dies with that off, and it's deadly. Red sniping him with the M4.
My name is Robbie. I'm 16. I am your OEF finalist. My teammate lacked creativity. I played with him back a couple times in LAN online, and ever since then we've been friends. We go by the team name 4TheTeam. When we spoke about this tournament to begin with, we really thought it was going to be like a casual tournament. As we made it through the group stage, it was kind of a smooth sail, and then we made it to the playoff, and we really had to like set roles for each other. I play personally a support role because I can throw utility for him, flash him through, and he's more of the fragger. He's all aim. I'm very confident. I know he is. He was hyping me up when we won the game the other day, and it was a really big emotional roller coaster. We were really hyped up. The game was amazing. So we're confident we can win this out. For the audience, I do want to say you guys are amazing. In the Twitch chat, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all the hype. It really keeps me in the game. I really got to say, may the best man win.
Like that. Yeah.
With masterpieces, our soul really straight, evolving from the dust. With masterpieces, so free. Let me spark your flame and burn it bright, baby. Yesterday. Consuming lights with energy rising. It grabs me from the dark. Light shines in the lights, baby. So break me heart. Get me to a place we'll burn apart. Yeah. Yesterday. Silent nights recalling you, a souvenir of what it could be. Pieces of my mind are yours. I forgot the parts I'm missing. I pretend that we are okay, like nothing's ever broken. And I pretend that we are dancing, like the nights are never I pretend that we are okay, like nothing's ever broken. And I pretend that we are dancing, like the nights are never ending. We will live the lives, we will live the lives, live the lives, we will live the lives in the fast lane. We will live the lives, we will live the lives, live the lives, we will live the lives in the fast lane.
And welcome to the finals, the grand finals, best of 5 between AbsoluteStuds and 4TheTeam. They made it this far, so they might as well just fight it until the death, until one of these teams gets that $100 prize. And 4TheTeam rushing out quick through those double doors, or they're setting up a smoke to plant within it. Robbie getting that flash in hand, running out onto the site. Chucky planting in the smoke. And both these CTs none the wiser once again, and the USPs find Robbie hiding behind the box. Now it's just a 1v2, and Robbie has to secure this post-plant position. He goes above in the glass, finds both these CTs near the bomb, smashes out the glass. Now Milorad knows where he is. Volty gets a trade after Milorad engaged him, and AbsoluteStuds winning the pistol round. And we've seen it time and time and time again. They win that pistol round in order to get those rifles because they are lasers with it if they are in the right positions. And AbsoluteStuds, again, the map vetoes that we saw are very generic, might I add. We have Inferno, Nuke, Short Dust, Overpass, and Train being selected, which those are none of the unorthodox maps that we've seen previously. This isn't Lake OP we're talking about. This is AbsoluteStuds and 4TheTeam, and they've never been a fan of those sort of on the fringe maps. So even if we get to Game 5, there's going to be no strange buys for either of these teams. No Negev buys, because there's no reason to buy them. If you're playing Nuke, you're playing a pretty generic map, and AbsoluteStuds, I would say this is their best map to play on for their first match, as it just sets the precedent for the rest of the match. And the game as well. Chucky getting taken out at double doors, and Robbie, last one left alive with the Deagle, could do some damage. Zones in on Milorad, the last one remaining on the ramp side, but Volty once again gets a trade. Milorad sucks all the bullets towards him, and they just focus in on that last T, and AbsoluteStuds securing that eco round. And or rather anti-eco round, and they're able to get a rifle and an SMG on their side, but both of these Ts Almost caught my words right out of my mouth. They're buying full nades, full rifles, and everything that they can, although Robbie does not have head armor, which is going to be really bad against either of these guns, either the M4 or the UMP. Smashed out the glass, trying to find Milorad out in the open, but the UMP getting him first, and the SG getting the nice trade. Nice trades on both sides. Teamwork coming in full display, and Chucky with 2 kills on his side, and we have pretty even kill distribution for neither side. Both of them are pretty lopsided, as Volty and Milorad have this sort of draw the bullets towards Milorad and Volty finishes them off type of deal going on, because you could see Milorad couldn't clutch that last round out, even with a full armor, full health UMP. Volty hiding on the scaffolding, and that 1T takes him, or rather that 1T gets taken out, and Robbie taking out Milorad on the ramp side, but Volty very low HP on the scaffolding, just missing him by an inch. Robbie gonna have to retake that bomb. Finds him on the scaffolding right behind the life vest. Couldn't see him. The FOV and just the life vest in a way, and Robbie clutches out that second round for the team, and AbsoluteStuds having to come back from that one. And they don't have enough money to buy anything worth a damn on their side, but they do have a deagle, and Volty, again, ever so deadly with the deagle. They seem to be all-around good players, but really good with 3 of those guns. Either the Glock on pistol round, the deagle now, or the AK when they can use it. But Robbie shredding through both of them with the headshots, and the AK gets both of them as they're just hiding on the ramp side and behind the box. Even though that was an anti-eco round, those spray transfers were clean, they were quick, didn't even give them a chance to react. Now for the team with 3 rounds against AbsoluteStuds 2, they're buying rifles, they're buying whatever they can get. And again, no head armor on Volty, which against an AK and an SG won't really matter too much. But if they have to pull out their Glocks, then it's going to matter a little bit more. Robbie trying to do that planting in the smoke strap, but the smoke goes a little bit too far, and now they can't go for it. They have to drain another one of their smokes, and Volty, I wasn't too sure if he was rushed all the way up, but no, he's just on scaffolding, trying to find one of these T's planting in the smoke. Chucky gets taken out. He's on the right side of it rather than the left side, and Milorad was caught out in the open in the glass, and Volty finds him on the right side of the smoke, or at least his right side, and AbsoluteStuds winning the 3rd round, responding, and they try to plant in that smoke, but they take way too long to get into it in the first place. And even if they did, Volty would just come in, seize the day. Now Robbie with another SG and an AWP this time around. They're pulling out the AWPs. We've seen AbsoluteStuds, they're getting challenged by this AWP. If they go single doors, which they are, see they smoked it that time because they once had to go into quadruple overtime in order to deal with an AWP that just kept going in single doors. Chucky peeking out the left side of the silo, now the right side, but neither side works as Volty predicts both of those sides coming in, and for the team with 3 rounds, absolutely disastrous. And he picks up the AK as well. It's the last round before the half, and these rounds are going quick. They're trying to seize that bomb site really quick, and it's really hit or miss for the team. And last round, and yet they're only buying deagles because they can only buy deagles. And full armor and half armor seems like a little bit of a pattern. And Chucky peeking window, trying to scout out anybody with their head peeking out, but nobody's early scaffolding and nobody's late scaffolding. They decided to just wait it out, and it looks like it's the right decision. Milorad holding single doors, now he has to hold double doors as well, and Volty, again, looks like he's going to be the only one in a 1v2 if Milorad decides to peek his head out, but neither of these CTs are peeking. The deagles scanning the area, trying to find anything that they can. Smoke going out the window. Milorad now gets auditory and visual contact, but he doesn't shoot. He's holding off, making sure that they can just peek right into his sight. The M4 gets the first one out the window. And now Robbie is the last one left alive. He's peeking the window once again, predicting he's going to be ramp side, but the deagle just misses his first headshot, but he's not going to over-dedicate because he knows that Volty is left on that site, and he wants to shoot him like hell. And let's see if he can. The AK focusing in on him, but the spray's a little bit bad, but he still gets him. And AbsoluteStuds with 5 rounds at the half against for the team's 3, and Volty with the absolute carry 10 rounds. We will see you after the break.
Every day, pick up every day. Just throw your body in the air.
You can see Volty near the end there being able to use the AK, which, again, they're dying to use on the T side, and they finally get the opportunity to use it. They're winning 5-3 at the half, but For the Team could get the advantage with this pistol round with the USPs and the P2000s. The P2000 is a little bit of a risky utility to take this time around, as the USP would be a lot more accurate and a lot more deadly for those sneak attacks up on the scaffolding. But Volty running out, getting headshot by Robbie. Blind almost, as he's just running out, expecting both of these USPs to miss, but they both hit him, and now Milorad in a 1v2, but Chucky down to 5 HP, and now we have this full HP guy is the one who's flanking, and Chucky gets taken out, but Robbie behind him, he doesn't know it, he gets taken out, and he flies up to the ceiling, and For the Team with the 4th round, winning the pistol round, dying as he's jumping, and he just ascends up into heaven. But luckily for the Team, they get to buy guns that'll send them both to heaven once again, the UMP, and probably another SMG, as they don't want to buy rifles, they don't want to buy that FAMAS to give it to them for the next round. Milorad with the P250 and Volty with the Deagle. He's going to try to work some magic with it this time, but it didn't work out as well as he wanted it to previously. Robbie with the UMP watching both of the doors, but Milorad's on one of them, and yet one of these CTs is holding a little bit too close for comfort, and we see Milorad just edging out, trying to get any visual. And again, neither of these teams are peeking the glass because they don't want to get shot from behind their backs. Milorad might be the first one to run out here, but he has a smoke. They have to wait for it to dissipate. This Deagle trying to find anybody. Is anybody going to peek? He might peek in front of the box, but he just misses Chucky on the right side of the box, and Milorad falls on the other side of the door, and the Deagle can't connect any more of those shots, and Volty falls to For the Team's 5th round. He almost won that eco round, but once again, we're 5-5, all tied up. And yet Milorad and Volty can afford whatever rifles they desire. No Negevs coming out this time, as they saw against them the previous games. UMP and an MP9 for both Robbie and Chucky. They're keeping with the SMGs, not overbuying, not draining their economy. Looks like this UMP's just rushing up, gets Milorad out in the open. Wasn't expecting the full-on rush, and he picks up the AK and falls back. And now it's just Volty in a 1v2, and neither of these CTs are giving him what he wants. Clear visuals on them. They're just hitting and retreating immediately. Hit and run tactics. And Volty has to deal with it. Now he has to clear sight the old-fashioned way. Robbie out in the open gets him, but he knocks him down for a lot of his HP, 39, and now Chucky, fully armored, fully HP with his AK. It's going to be a difficult sight retake to get. Watching the right side here, watching the flank, and Chucky rushing him full out, but Volty gets a headshot, and he's just surviving with a little bit of his HP. The CT got impatient, just wanted to full out rush him, but it didn't work. And For the Team's going to pay for that, but they still have enough money to deal with in this next round. And his teammate bought him an op. They're redistributing the wealth as per usual, and the AK and the SG coming out. Milorad only with 3 kills, 3 assists, and 10 deaths. He's almost died every single round, but again, it's just the trade. It's just the life cycle on the T side. Milorad tries to draw out all the shots, but Volty getting an early pick, and yet Milorad is the last one left remaining, and Chucky and Milorad are the bottom ones on their team, so they can prove themselves with this round per se. Milorad with full utility. Let's see if he uses it, trying to find a pick through the glass, as everyone does. Nothing would be more cheeky than trying to get a shot that nobody can see, and Chucky, again, holding the top of ramp side, and Milorad has a slight inkling that he's there. The op still hard peeking that single doors, finding no visual on him whatsoever, breaks the glass. Now he's just distracting him for a little bit, watches double doors, misses the shot. Now Milorad has a full sight onto the ramp side, and he's going to be able to plant that bomb. Both of these op shots missing, and that might have been his only opportunity, unless Milorad tries to peek him once again. I think he is. That flash coming in on the right side. He's just waiting for Chucky to push him, throwing another flash, distracting him. Let's see if Chucky, yes, full blinded, looked right into it. He's trying to find a quick pick. Oh, he just moved as Milorad was moving out onto the site, and I don't think he's going to be able to retake this. Smoking. He's full out going for it. He smoked the site himself, and Milorad still falling in it. Not falling for any of these tactics. Could shoot through the box. He saw him on the other side. He's going to try to go for it. Hey, shoots him through the smoke, and Chucky. Let's see if he can get the defuse. He might be able to, but I'm not too sure. Milorad just hiding on the other side of that box. No, he's just going to miss it. For the team, getting the shot through the smoke. Full through the smoke, hiding in the generic spot on the other side of the box, but they weren't able to get that defuse. And for the team with 5 rounds against AbsoluteStuds 7, they were almost able to retake that site, but the shot through the smoke just wasn't enough to sacrifice buying an op. You had to sacrifice buying a defuse kit, and if you don't buy a diffuser, I'm sure you know the saying, but Volty spraying down one, but the other one gets his AK in single doors, and once again the bomb's down in a bad spot for Milorad. He might not be able to retake it like he did last time. Robbie hiding on the other side of the door. Once that door opens, or once he hears him on the other side of that door, he can just spray through it, but he gets a bomb and no shots are coming through Robbie. Just letting him plant on the site, baiting him out with the squeaky door, and the UMP just strafes by him. Now AbsoluteStuds with the match point round. Milorad with both of these clutches after the bomb goes down. Seems like Volty's just trading tactical positions with Milorad. 2 clutches coming from him. And now Robbie and Chucky with bad economies. They just have to buy those SMGs and whatever utility they can get, no defuse kits once again, which I didn't think they were going to come into play here, but once the bomb's coming down, once both of these teams are playing a little bit more leniently, Chucky with a kill on Volty. Robbie watching the glass, watching both of these entryways, Chucky clearing them with his teammate. Yet they didn't nade out either of these doors, so the T's can just hide behind them, and Milorad hiding in single doors. Let's see if the UMP can get him. Can't get the trade, but Chucky just gets a trade there, and for the team with 6 rounds against AbsoluteStuds 8. Chucky with the ace on his side, and yet the kill distribution is starting to even out on for the team, which is more common than it is on the T side, because Volty's still buying that deagle, trying to find some of these skill shots to just take away all of the economy. He's going single doors once again, his favorite position, but the CTs might be catching on to it. They're smoking it ever so regularly now, and Milorad trying to find a pick on Windows side. Again, he's done this before, and Chucky starting to adapt to it, taking him out with the AK, and now Volty, last one left alive, nading out the doors. Now he can't hide behind it, and he has to reposition once again, although he's not too dedicated around it just yet. The Deagle holding top of stairs, and Robbie holding that door with the M4. Just fading out over to the left side, and that Deagle might peek that M4 in a bad position. Quick headshot, taking out that eco round. Now, for the team, can force out an overtime on this first map, and AbsoluteStuds' best map might actually be for the team's best map as well, as Nuke is one that you can just grind over and over again, start to get the timings on. Like in Rialto, no way, but this one, you can find the timings just like that. Milorad trying to find these double doors, but nobody's peeking yet. Chucky smashed out the glass, trying to find an early pick on either one of these people who are ever so aggressive on these positions. Volty just getting a sliver of Robbie through the door, and yet he nades out the door, making sure that he can't retreat. And Milorad pushing up the window side, trying to find one of them on the scaffolding, and he does, but the AK can't get him first. Chucky gets him first with his own AK. Now Volty holding the doors with the SG, trying to find some pick. Robbie just flashing himself, completely missed, hit the edge of the door, and Robbie and Chucky now having to hold both of these doors, and Volty in a 1v2 could just seize out this Nuke game with 2 easy SG kills, but they know exactly where he's going to be coming from, as the rotate's going to take way too long from single doors. If it's going to be quiet, he's going to be coming out single doors, and Chucky gets him with a quick headshot. We're going to be going into our first overtime between For The Team and AbsoluteStuds. We will see you at the half. We're going to be going to our first overtime. I wasn't expecting this personally, but both of these teams just forced it out, and Volty couldn't clutch out either of those 2 rounds. And Milorad seems like the clutcher on the T side, and yet both of them are buying SGs. Seems like he just wants to try it again, wants to get that quick peek with the headshot machine that the SG is. You just zoom in with that scope and tap him away to death, and Chucky knocked down to 81% of his HP with a quick nade. I can only presume maybe a quick SG shot. I'm not too sure, but Robbie holding the single doors and Chucky holding the double doors and window, and Robbie might be flanked from above if he's not too careful. And I don't know if he's peeking out onto the site there, but it doesn't look like he was. And Volty, again, trying to find any of these window peaks, but they never come unless they're in scaffolding. Shoots out the glass, trying to bait out that op, but the op almost baits him out. Gets him for a little bit more of his HP, and both of these CTs getting attrition down to just a little bit of their HP at a time in this op. The last one that's remaining on the ramp side. Milorad gonna have to plant in the smoke. The op just doesn't find him out, gets him through the smoke first. Now Chucky is the last one left remaining on the CT side. He has to pin down the site any way that he can, but he let them plant the bomb way too soon. Now both of them can just be in a post-plant position. They're going aggressive. Volty going right up into his face here. Aggressive ramp side, and Chucky's not going to like this position. The op just doesn't know where he is. Now he's peeking out way too far. Chucky out in the open. Volty gets him while he's out in the open, and AbsoluteStuds with the 9th round against 4TheTeam. They win the first round of the first half of the first overtime. We'll see if they can seize out the next bit of this. They're not buying any ops. They're sticking with those SGs, which is a rather safe buy. Milorad with 6 kills, starting to catch up to his teammate, and both of these teams starting to equalize as both of them have to carry their weight in these 1v2s or even 2v2s. And Chucky, aggressive position, holding up on the window. Volty just hasn't seen this before, but he gets the MP9. Not even almost half of his damage was taken away. That's the whole purpose of the MP9, just shred all of their armor, shred all of their health, and Volty with a nasty one tap. Not a 1D, but just a one tap with the SG through the smoke in 3 seconds until the next half. We're going to be going right in. AbsoluteStuds could seize it out with this quick CT side, and their favorite positions are on the T side, so we might see a little bit more of a downtrodden type of game plan here, a little bit more lenient game plan. We got 10 rounds. Volty smoking out the single doors. He's trying to deal with this window over here, but he doesn't want to directly peek it. And a nice kill from window side. Milorad just peeking it. Bad idea, because Robbie's just scanning those windows, making sure that nobody's on the other side of them, and he finds one. Now Volty, last one left remaining, getting both of these Ts. Can he scout out their positions? Robbie throwing a flash through. He scouts out Robbie, but he just gets taken out on the scaffolding. Again, you don't want to peek that window side because they have nowhere else to look. All they have to do is just clear every single position on the window. And 4TheTeam getting the 9th round against AbsoluteStuds 10, and Volty getting drained with his economy. Although, it doesn't really matter because this is the last round of the half, and they could have bought an auto for all they care. But Robbie, again, quick peeking this window side. But again, these CTs have now adapted. Volty getting the first kill, and now it's just a 1v2, and it's a dire situation. He has to win this to keep his team alive. The AK scanning the glass, trying to find anyone here, but they're both hiding in very smart positions to be playing. Not even on the other side of Silo, just close scaffolding. No intelligence on him whatsoever. He might have gone the call, but he might have moved as well. Shoots out the glass, trying to bait out somebody, but Volty isn't biting. But Milorad seems like he might bite soon. Hiding on the other side of ramp, gets Volty with the AK, trying to find the other guy on ramp side, but he can't! As Milorad clutches that round out for AbsoluteStuds, and they win the first map, Nuke. We're going to be going into the second map, which presumably is Inferno. 1-0 so far in this grand final best of 5. We will see you soon.
Those long-range guns, they might be a fan of that. Whoa! That was a good headshot, Nathaniel, just catching him. Oh. He might go for this ninja defuse. Oh, he has the flash. But the T's aren't peeking into the flash, so they can just spray right through. That's a 10-second defuse. He throws that second flash. He almost has no chance. These AKs are just missing him. He's gonna get the ninja defuse.
And we are in for the team with the 1 map deficit, but it's not enough to sign off this match or this best of 5. We have Milorad and Volti buying full armor, and both these CTs buying full armor as well. They're dedicating over to the other side of the map, which is lane side. This is a favorite for all of these CT teams. They don't want to over-dedicate or split their forces on the pistol round. They'd rather retake with both of their players intact, with both of their heads intact. Chucky holding passive pit, but he's now aggressively peeking both of these Ts. Volti getting out of his sight as soon as he can, doesn't want to get instantly headshot and leave Milorad in a 1v2, but this Glock trying to find out some positioning here, and Volti pushing up along with his teammate adjacent to each other. But he pulls back a little bit more, which is curious because Milorad is now the only one that's pushed up all the way in apps against both of these CTs. And Chucky, the only one with the USP, the only one that can get some stealth kills from the pit side. Yet he's peeking out Volti. Both of them peek at the same time, but Milorad gets taken out instantly. Volti doesn't know where either of these CTs are, and yet they can only be in one place. One's in pit. He's trying to find some other pick, but neither of them are biting because both of them are in pit side. Volti getting shot in the back, and for the team winning the first pistol round of the match. And getting that early economic advantage against AbsoluteStuds. They just couldn't attack from both positions, and they pay for it as the delayed rush got Milorad killed, and then Volti tried to clutch against both of these CTs in the exact same position as each other. And Volti setting up these smokes, preventing either of these Ts from just running up on them instantly. But Volti with the Wandig, I'm sure that was nasty because Chucky was just trying to get an early pick on him. Now Milorad has that MP9. Volti just has that deagle in his hands, and Robbie's still looking through the smoke. Can't find anybody. Milorad still with the MP9 on the other side. He's holding that angle really tight against that wood. I don't even think he'd be able to react in time to shoot anybody, but it doesn't even matter as Robbie, last one left on site with the MP9. MP9 versus MP9. His is superior. Not even a single point of damage against Robbie with the MP9, but Volti ever so deadly with the deagle. Just peeking with his shoulder, but he's not going to get him as for the team with 2 rounds against AbsoluteStuds. Shuts down that eco round with both of their MP9s, and I'm surprised Milorad did not get even 1 percentile of damage against Robbie with the MP9, and Volti could only get 1 shot off of him. Not looking good for both of them here, as Inferno is typically a strong map for both of these teams, but I guess for the team is just as strong on these maps as they are on any of them. So we see Milorad and Volti again dedicating to lane side, except Volti's going apps this time, and he hears Chucky bouncing up on top of the railings, but he gets smoked off, so he can't rush him. That's going to be ever so detrimental, as he could have gotten it into an early 1v2, maybe even shut down the round, as Robbie's holding arch side, and it's very aggressive. Chucky and Robbie also switched between their arch side and their lane side defenses, so they might not be expecting Milorad to just push up all the way, but again, Robbie's not a fan of just pushing up all the way onto arch side, so it's not even going to be a problem. Looks like both of these Ts are actually dedicating to lane side here as Volti's pushed up all the way in apps. He's too far away to even undedicate this. Volti peeking down lane side, arch side, getting taken out by Robbie with a quick headshot. Now it's just a 1v2. Milorad with the AK, trying to clear out all these positions. Can they get the crossfire here? Yes, they can. The MP9's confusing him. He's getting shot at from both of these positions, and for the team with quick 3 rounds here. AbsoluteStuds getting shot at from every single position imaginable. No defaults. No default setups on the CT side. Both of them are just hiding in lane side. Not even hiding in arch side at all, because arch side seems to be very deadly when you push up all the way. And Robbie, again, he's pushing up all the way, but he's doing it with smokes, so he has a little bit more of a chance of not dying instantly. And Volti trying to find a pick through the smoke. He's just not getting one because they're not pushed up all the way, but Chucky could be breaking this. AK gets a headshot. Now it's just Volti with the deagle. He's peeking down the lane side with the deagle. He's out the other side, the M4, the AK just closing in on both of these Ts, and for the team with the 4th round against AbsoluteStuds, they just get that crossfire now every single round that they can. They get a pick and they close in further and further, just claustrophobic for the T side. They're not throwing any smokes or utility on the T side, and they only have 1 kill so far. And the smokes and the flashes would be very useful for both of them. Again, this flash is coming in, but Volti is completely clueless as to where Robbie is, and he's sitting out in the open. Milorad, the last one left remaining, gets him with the AK on the other side. Both of these Ts just getting shut down on Inferno. The crossfire, once again, shoots him all the way through the smoke on the other side. It is insane. I don't think anybody was expecting AbsoluteStuds to just fall this fast on Inferno, and yet they're back to another eco round, but eco rounds are something not to underestimate for AbsoluteStuds so far, but Volty still having to find his footing with this Deagle, not finding any of these angles too favoring. He would like them to be pit side so he could instantly headshot them. He's looking down pit right now. He knows all of the pre-fire spots, but I don't think he knows it for top of box. Chucky taking out Mulerat as he's just walking out with the SG, and let's see if the Deagle can do some work here. He's hard peeking all of these angles, making sure somebody's coming towards him, but they're not rushing him at all. They're not giving him what he wants. They did this on the nuke side as well. Nuke side, CT side. Now he's throwing some smokes. Now he's throwing some utility. Trying to bait out one of these CTs, and that's an arch side smoke more than it is a lane side smoke, but neither of these CTs are biting. He's on the right side of the hay barrel. He might be able to get him on the right side. He does, but he doesn't take him down. Those SG shots just missed him. Throws a nade, knocks him down to 27% of his HP, and Robbie with the AK on the other side of the box for the team with 6 rounds in a row, and AbsoluteStuds can just buy an AK every single round now with their loss bonus. Let's hope that they don't buy full out. Nope, Volty's just buying full out. SG, smoke, flashes, everything under the sun. Mulerad with the SG as well with the full armor. Robbie smoking down the arch side here, and Mulerad trying to find an early pick, but he's not getting it. Some good strats here, and I would like to point out that AbsoluteStuds likes playing these long-range map or close-range maps rather than long-range maps because the utility is ever so deadly if you have to play against it, and AbsoluteStuds is just paying for it now. They're hoping for these close-range engagements or even open engagements, but they're not getting any of them because Inferno, you can just hide in so many different cubby holes. Pit, under balcony, library, even on site, there's so many different angles that you have to be aware of, and I don't think they were prepared for it so far. And the smoke coming out from apartments, and it's going out in the open, but it's not blocking out Pit all the way because he can just throw that molly right in. Mulerad getting taken out by Chucky on the other side of the map, and Robbie's now pushed up all the way. Volty feels the pressure. He knows he has to rush every time soon, but Chucky throwing the nade once again knocks him down to 64% of his HP. He's on the railing, and he's just standing in the smoke, and Chucky gets a headshot. He's just standing up in the railing out in the open, and for the team with 7 rounds against AbsoluteStuds, flat 0. And Mulerad, the only kill on the T side, rather. They have the money to buy, but they don't have the money to buy much. 2 UMPs and some light armor here. And the smoke coming out from Chucky, and he's just preventing them from full-out rushing. Mulerad runs right into the flashbang on lane side. Volty runs right into the flashbang on lane side. Both of them just running out full blind for the team with 8 rounds to AbsoluteStuds 0. We will see you after the half.
Every day, pick up any day.
Who would have known that after a first overtime match on Nuke, we would be in this position for the team with 8 early rounds against AbsoluteStuds, just shutting them down at every avenue of opportunity that they had. But Robbie and Chucky gonna have to seize out this first pistol round in order to just take out AbsoluteStuds, just wipe the floor with them on this Inferno map, and they're going default, although Robbie with some utility on pistol round, which is very smart because they're going to have to bait out somebody out of their hard line positions, and they're throwing out the smoke, which Volty threw almost every single round that he was in apartments. And Volty with the USP looking down this one alleyway that he has to, up in his face. Both of these CTs just running around him with the Glocks, shooting him as they're running, and that's what the gun is good for. That's about the only thing that gun is good for. The USP gonna have to scout out both of these players. Can they seize it out? The USP getting the early kill, and Robbie, the last one left remaining. The USP almost taking out both of them. Robbie only with 8 HP, running around the site. He gushes them through the box. Can the USP get him before the Glock can? Robbie just getting over the headshot box, over the bomb site box, and for the team with 9 rounds against AbsoluteStuds 0, shutting them down absolutely. We are all tied up in this best of 5 series. And for the team responding quickly, and we're going to be going into short dust for our next map, another long range map for AbsoluteStuds.
Those long-range guns, they might be a fan of that. Whoa! That was a good headshot. Nathaniel just catching him. Oh. He might go for this ninja defuse. Oh, he has the flash. But the T's aren't peeking into the flash, so they can just spray right through. That's a 10-second defuse. He throws that second flash. He almost has no chance. These AKs are just missing him. He's gonna get the ninja defuse. And AbsoluteStuds, this is almost their nightmare situation. Another long-range map for them to contend with, unless they can retake the site every single round, as all of these different angles that you have to deal with on short dust, especially outside, are just long range, and they haven't been known to use the op very much, and they're more of a rifle-based team, and the molly coming out, preventing them from retaking the site straight down the middle, but both of these USPs can still shoot through it, and Volty and Milorad now down to a 2v2, but one's low HP, so it's practically a 1v1. So both of these players are still low HP. Volty, hard peeking with the deagle, hopefully gets the first one. Can he get the second one? No, he can't, but Milorad is down to a 1v1 now, and he gets headshot from Chucky out on the right side, and both of these players tried to retake the site from different positions, and it just failed. Absolutely, I might add as well, that For the Team was the fan favorite going into this tournament, as we had a small opinion poll beforehand, and AbsoluteStuds
I think got almost no votes for them, but another underdog team might not hurt. Volty with a quick headshot with the deagle. That's what we like to see. That's what I've been waiting for this entire time. And Robbie trying to aggressively plant the bomb on the other side of this bomb site. Both these CTs are retaking from both sides. Volty with 2 deagle headshots. One was a Wandig, another one was just 2 clean shots right there on the retake. And for the team, they planted the bomb so they get the economy, but AbsoluteStuds just countering my opinion poll right away, getting quick headshots outside. And Volty, again, that's what he's been waiting for this entire time, using that deagle to his advantage. And the SG and the UMP now on the CT side, they have the scoped weapon that can just serve as a laser on any position that they please, but the spray is a little bit wonky for anybody that uses it because everybody practices for the AK spray. Nobody practices for an SG spray unless you're trying to tilt people on purpose. And Robbie, the late molly, that's very far away. He almost dinked his teammate there, and Robbie are going to have to contend with both of these CTs retaking the site from, again, this is the same position that they retook it from last time, but Volty this time has an SG, not a deagle, so it's going to be a well-placed laser if he can place it well. Predicts the flash coming in, but he gets headshot from Robbie, looking the wrong way, and Robbie with that P250. Again, a hidden gem of a weapon, and Chucky with the headshot with the deagle through the box for the team, shutting down the bomb site retake against AbsoluteStuds. And they had the guns to retake that site, but they took him out of position. They didn't let him pick their engagements. For the team picking their engagements that they want on short dust so far. Now Robbie and Chucky, again, always up that ladder, never going outside because both of these CTs are relying on them going outside, and Volty might be rushing through the smoke. No, he just tries to shoot through it, throwing a nade, might get a couple. Gets one down to a little bit of his HP, but it's not enough. They smoke both sides of the tunnel, making sure that they can't shoot through it. But Milorad not knowing that the other guy's just on the other side of the smoke. Robbie looking at him in his face, and he doesn't even know it. Milorad's the first one to look through the smoke at the right time. And Chucky, last one left remaining with the UMP, has to clutch between 2 of these CTs, and they're closing in on the bomb site. But he's repositioning, and Volty might catch on to it soon. Walking out with his knife, but he has to shoot through the box in order to get him. He's just holding it. Does he have a kit? No, he doesn't, but he gets him. And Volty doesn't have the defuse. He took out Milorad, and he didn't have a kit either. And that's it. AbsoluteStuds loses that round, but he survives 1 HP, so he keeps that M4 just barely. And for the team with 3 rounds to AbsoluteStuds 1, he over-dedicated to take out that bomb site diffuser, and it worked out for him.
Now AbsoluteStuds, again, with a UMP and an M4 on their side.
Against both of these Ts, which are just controlling the bomb site with an AK and an SG. Again, the late Molotov, but it goes right past Volty, and again, you 1v1 him with that rifle, and he gets to get ya. 11 HP on Chucky, left remaining, and Milorad not taking any chances, just running through the smoke, and the SG locked onto his head, but he just can't shoot in time because the gun was still drawing, and Milorad making sure to buy a defuse kit this time around. And AbsoluteStuds with the second round response against For the Team. They're starting to equalize it ever so slightly, but For the Team might have to switch up some of their tactics. And Chucky with 5 kills, Robbie with 1. He's more of a one-on-one. Oh, AbsoluteStuds is more of a one-on-one type of team. They're going double outside, and For the Team has never gone double outside, so I'm not too sure what the strat is. Maybe they were dedicating all of their players for a switch-up in tactics, but Robbie just planting. And now both of these CTs have to contend against both of these Ts just being in post-plant positions, and Volty, neither of these CTs ever flanking, as they would just be caught out on the ladder, and that's one of the hard parts about short dust is you can flank between those 3 tunnels, but you can't flank from behind because the ladder is just too slow. You're exposed for too long. Robbie's the only one directly holding this bomb site. Milorad not even looking at where the bomb is. The nade coming in. Robbie taking out both of these players trying to retake this bomb site. Milorad wasn't even looking in the right place. And the last round before the half, or the second last round before the half, and this is going to be really bad for AbsoluteStuds if they aren't able to tie it up. But again, it's a long-range map with very off to the side cubby holes that they have to contend with, and Milorad and Volty now just resorting to buying a UMP and a FAMAS, and they're throwing out this nade, and both sides are just throwing stuff at each other, but it's not going to be enough. They aren't able to seize out this bomb site. The T's taking it so early every single round, and now they have to retake it once again. The CTs are stuck in retake after retake after retake, and they cannot defuse that bomb without getting in a 1v1 engagement with both of these Ts. And they don't have the weapons to do it this round. An SG and an AK on the T side, and they're just playing time, throwing flashes, making sure that they take forever to get to this bomb. And Volty now throwing his nades, taking out Chucky. No, he's still alive, 5 HP, and now Muellerhead with 7, but he takes him out with the USB. And Robbie, last one with remaining with the AK, hides on the other side of the smoke, but it's not going to work out. But he doesn't have a defuse kit, and he doesn't have time. Once again, he doesn't have time, just like Volty did. And AbsoluteStuds losing that round. Again, Muellerhead bought a kit last round, but he didn't buy a kit this round when he needed it. And AbsoluteStuds with, again, another deficit for the team with 5 rounds. And the other team is telling them to buy kits because they really need to. They're stuck in so many bomb site retakes that they just need to buy that kit every single round that they can, but they're just not doing it, and they're suffering for it. Now Robbie, again, they just throw these methodical smokes and flashes and Molotovs, seizing out the bomb site, but they're holding aggressive this time, and Volty catches them out. He was aggressively peeking. Both these CTs retake the bomb site, and finally, they get a bomb site retake that was clean, and they took out both of the Ts when they could, early in the round. And I believe we are at the half, 5-3, with equal kill distribution.
Sunshine, every day, pick up any day.
And as somebody pointed out in the chat, yes, 4TheTeam did exactly the same strat every single round that they could, with the exception of pistol round, and they weren't even on many eco rounds at all, as they had enough money to do their strat as many times as they wanted to. So AbsoluteStuds, again, we'll see if they implement the same strat that the 4TheTeam did, and they're dedicating both on the other side, and they get to do one-on-one engagements. AbsoluteStuds' favorite, but Chucky taking out both of them with the USB. One-on-one engagements just not working, I guess. And 4TheTeam with 6 rounds against AbsoluteStuds 3, they take out another pistol round out of AbsoluteStuds' hands, which 4TheTeam did last time. And now Robbie and Chucky get to buy whatever the hell they want, and they're doing, I guess, another strat this time around. Molotov straight down the middle, I presume, and both of these Ts. Yep, Molotov coming in, preventing them from both rushing, and Volty having to dedicate over to the other side of the smoke. They get to isolate him. MP9 taking him out with a quick headshot. Now, Muellerhead, last one left remaining with the P250, headshots him, but it's not going to be enough, as AbsoluteStuds with 3 rounds. 3 rounds! With 4TheTeam 7. How far they have fallen from that first Nuke map, and I guess Nuke was their best map after all. They were able to seize out in overtime, which AbsoluteStuds seized out in overtime last time as well against Mauve, if I remember correctly. And we're a far time from Senator's Son, and these people are buying armor, they're buying whatever the hell they want to that works. Muellerhead getting almost dinked through the wall. He has a deagle, but he gets taken out by Volty's deagle that he picked up just 2 seconds ago. Both of these Ts not being able to rush out onto the site, and 4TheTeam with 8 rounds against AbsoluteStuds 3. They dominated on Short Dust as well. And I think it's easy to say that this game is almost over now and again, as AbsoluteStuds only has one round, or actually no rounds on the T side. They were just getting shut down. They don't know how to take the bomb site quite as well as 4TheTeam does. As you just need extra utility to take out both of these CTs on their side. They try to fake down the ladder, but neither of them are falling for it, as they gave no indication that they were coming that way. Chucky, once again, he was just holding these angles previously, and he's just making sure that he's being careful. And Volty and Milorad now rushing down the middle. Chucky getting visual with the AK, takes out Volty instantly. Now Milorad, less one left remaining with the bomb, with the UMP as well, and the M4 just takes him out from the other side. 4TheTeam winning Short Dust 9-3. They win the second map. We will see you after this map on Overpass.
Those long-range guns, they might be a fan of that. Whoa! That was a good headshot, Nathaniel, just catching him. Oh. He might go for this ninja defuse. Oh, he has the flash. But the T's aren't peeking into the flash, so they can just spray right through. That's a 10-second defuse. He throws that second flash. He almost has no chance. These AKs are just missing him. He's gonna get the ninja defuse.
Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this.
Welcome to this pistol round action, and I believe it is the fourth game of this best of 5 series. 4TheTeam clutching out Short Dust previously against AbsoluteStuds with some expert smoke plays and expert site takes, and site holds as well. They secure the post-plant position ever so well. Robbie in the sniper position against both of these Ts, just running out onto the site. Milorad and Volty just taking out both of these CTs. Instantly, Volty with both of those headshots, baiting out the one from heaven, baiting out the one from with the other shot, and 4TheTeam falling. And it seems like Overpass is starting to sway the other way, as 4TheTeam collapsing on the CT side, and AbsoluteStuds with a beastly amount of kills with the AK so far. And let's see if they can continue this trend, and the UMP as well for Milorad. Milorad knows how to strafe back and forth with the UMP, ever so deadly. But Robbie and Chucky, again, rushing both of these Ts, and they don't expect it. Volty down to 8 HP. If I was him, I'd be switching out that AK for the UMP, because Milorad needs it more than he does, because he has all the HP to deal with in the world. But Milorad, once again, dealing against his Deagle on toxic barrels. He's pushing up ever so slowly. Both of these CTs hiding behind cover. They just want to get those one-on-one engagements, but they can't get it. Now Volty down to 8 HP. He's going to have to find these headshots if he ever needs them. If he's ever shot one in his life, he needs them more than ever right now. Chucky just peeking out in water, and Robbie gets him out with the MP9. The anti-eco round is so successful for the team that round that they just get an AK. They get whatever Deagles they had on the ground. They're trading out guns, and Milorad and Volty now down to a Deagle. Once again, Volty with 2 kills on the T side, and those are his only kills on his side. And Volty, let's see if he can get some Wandeeks here, setting up the flashes, setting up the smokes. He's not going directly down, he's going into construction. But he sees a smoke there, tries to spray through it, but he's getting no visuals whatsoever. Nobody is peeking him, because they don't want to die early on into the round like they did previously. Again, both of these teams are playing much like they did on Nuke. Very leniently, very to the back, not peeking anything that they don't want to peek. Not peeking that they don't have to peek, and Milorad now rushing out with the P250, might be the first casualty, full flashed by his teammate's flashbang. And the Deagle scouting out that first headshot. Volty getting a Wandeek instantly against Robbie as he's peeking out into water. Now it's just a 1v2, but Chucky hiding in the smoke, but it might dissipate first. The AK jumping up on top of the barrels. Milorad getting the first visual, and he takes out Volty from a distance, but Milorad up close with the P250. Just couldn't see him through the lower side of the smoke, and AbsoluteStuds winning that T side against 4TheTeam, and they're seizing out these rounds against 4TheTeam, although they won the anti-eco round. Or rather, won their eco round. Now both these Ts are buying AKs, and they're throwing smokes. They're throwing Molotovs. That was a quick Molotov into construction, making sure that they don't rush them, and Chucky throwing flashes of his own, throwing smokes of his own, preventing Milorad from scouting out Chucky on the right side, but Milorad just full out rushing, getting Robbie full flash, but Chucky seizes out the trade. Rather, no trade at all. He didn't even die, and now Volty left in a 1v2. His teammate rushed through that smoke, and he was hoping that he got some kill or some damage against both of these CTs, but he didn't at all, and Chucky again climbed up all the way on top of the left side here, and though he doesn't have a skin, he does have the position to actually take him by surprise, sliding down the railing, but he had full inaccuracy while he was sliding down. And Robbie with no armor with the MP9 against Volty, who is full armored up, so as long as those AK shots connect, he's going to be pretty screwed on his half. Volty with the AK clearing every position. This is going to be bad for Robbie on the CT side, as this MP9 is out in the open practically, and he has a defuse kit, but he's holding lower. So if he hears him rushing up on the construction side, can the AK clear that position soon enough? Sees the shadow on the right side. Now he knows exactly where he is. The MP9 gets him through the wood, and 4TheTeam winning that second round against AbsoluteStuds. Failed sight take, might I add, as it all collapsed when Milorad ran right through that smoke. Volty set up the flash for him, but Milorad himself just didn't know where either of them were going to be, and 4TheTeam was rather close to the tunnel there. It was surprising how fast they got to those positions and how quick they could have died against Volty and Milorad. Again, they're just full rushing that lower position, and Volty might make them pay for it. The AK aggressively pushing up into construction, trying to find any heads. Can he find any heads? Robbie might be the first head that he sees. He's hard peeking that, making sure that nobody's rotating over to the left side of it. And Robbie and Chucky starting to close in towards the bomb site here, and Milorad has no visual, so Volty's going to have to clear the site all by himself if he wants to right now. He has no nades worth a damn to do any damage against either of them. Robbie hard holding with the M4. Can he get the first visual? They're just peeking opposite to each other. They can't see each other at all. Volty breakdancing in construction. They take out Milorad. Slow pushing on the other side, and 4TheTeam winning the third round against both of these Ts. They have no utility. They're just trying to bear rush against both of these. Same position almost every single round for the team. They're always on the right side. They're almost never in heaven or far because they died pistol round holding all the way back because AbsoluteStuds got the one-on-one engagement that they wanted in pistol round, and now they're not getting it because 4TheTeam is just adapting to all of their tactics that they want them to do, smoking out lower once again, which is Volty. It leaves Volty with the Deagle in construction and Chucky not peeking it. Now Volty's going to be the last one left remaining with the Deagle that can actually full-on engage both of these CTs, trying to catch Robbie in Toxic Barrels, but he's not biting as this AK's not peeking him. Chucky peeking the lower side. Robbie peeks him, but then instantly goes over to the side and he repeaks with the AK, but Volty is not there. Milorad still smoked out in the lower tunnels. Poor Milorad. He just can't rush it. Although it looks like he's rushing right now. He's closing up with that P250. The full flash comes in, but he peeks a little bit too late for it. But the AK spraying over to the side. Milorad might be able to get this P250 kill. He can't. And Chucky seizes out the 4th round for the team. And AbsoluteStuds collapsing slowly under the pressure. A common problem that AbsoluteStuds has is they're not rushing through that utility. Milorad, his only hope now is to either rush with Volty or just rush through the smoke, buy a flash or something. He's just hiding on the other side of it, and he just leaves for the team to just smoke it over and over again, because that's all they have to do. Milorad aggressively pushing it, and he smokes it once again. Milorad can't do anything now. He's stuck on the other side of the smoke, and Volty, the only one that can get any engagement, and he's down to 20% of his HP. They're starting to fall apart a little bit here, but Volty maybe throwing a smoke of his own, maybe seizing out some of these positions, looking for a boost, but neither of these CTs have ever gone there on the CT side, so there's no reason for him to be looking there. Robbie now looking towards the bottom half of the map, throwing a molly over to Volty, which prevents him from rushing. And now they're down to 45 seconds. That molly's going to dissipate in about 10. And they threw the smoke onto the bomb site, but he didn't throw it onto construction. That late Molotov, it's very shallow, but it prevents either of them from scouting out Toxic Barrel's position. Milorad gets a kill finally, because the smoke isn't there. Now it's just a 1v1. Robbie gets Milorad, but he gets both of them out in the open with both of these rifles. And AbsoluteStuds, again, they're playing like they would on CT, but they have to play like they are on T side. They're just not seizing out the bomb site as they can, and 4TheTeam is playing ever so well on their side, smoking out every position, making sure that they can't full out rush them, can't get those one-on-one engagements, can't see them whatsoever. And Milorad with the AK. Again, I don't know what either of their game plans are this time around, but same strats as per usual on the CT side, and they're both dedicating to construction, which we know that they don't smoke out construction that much. Now they're starting to clue in. Yep, there we go. Smoke at construction. And now they both can't go anywhere. They're both Helen Keller, blind joke. And Chucky's just looking down where Milorad typically is, but now that he knows that he's not there, they know that both of them have to be on the other side of the map. Volty setting up some Molotovs, setting up some utility, trying to scout out any of these CTs, but Robbie, again, his teammate just chucks some molly towards him. Now they only have 35 seconds less than last time. They're going to have to full out rush both of these CTs. Another Molotov coming in. Now they're even more delayed. 25 seconds until they can rush the bomb site. Volty and Milorad still throwing utility. They saved it for this exact event, and CT's wasting some of their utility. Now they just have to rush out. Robbie again, the first kill. Volty running into the M4 spray, and 4TheTeam ever so close to winning this best of 5 against AbsoluteStuds. Volty and Milorad with 4 kills and 3 kills respectively. Equal kill distribution. We will see you after that.
Sunshine every day. Pick up every day.
And at a time like this, what better quote to use than, and this quote is from AbsoluteStuds, "We're going to win like you've never seen before," and yet they're trailing 3 rounds away from losing this best of 5 against 4TheTeam on one of their weakest maps so far, and Robbie and his teammate just rushing full out with the Glocks. No reason to do any overblown strats against both these CTs. The USB, let's see if he can get these jumping Glocks out, and they get the crossfire correctly, and they find both of their positions right on time. AbsoluteStuds with the pistol round, and that's going to be rather beneficial for both of them, but they can only buy SMGs, which is the nature of Wingman. Both of these teams able to buy SMGs, and I would argue that there's no real eco round. There's no real anti-eco or eco. It's just the SMG round. Here we have both of the SMGs, although the T's not buying any SMGs on their side, which I guess we should expect a clean bomb site death here, although Milorad and Volti have surprised me with how they can give up this bomb site ever so easily, as they don't have enough utility to block them off, and Robbie and Chucky now just have a clear line of sight onto the bomb site. But again, the crossfire being set up from both of these players. They're both on the same side, and the P250 just can't transfer any of these shots. Getting taken down for some of his HP, but AbsoluteStuds with 4 rounds against 4TheTeam 6. Milorad and Volti with 2 UMPs. They have full armor and a defuse kit against Robbie and Chucky's full rifles. And 4TheTeam now bringing out the big guns, as that's why they saved up. They didn't want to force up those SMGs because they knew that AbsoluteStuds was relying on them buying full out that round. And Chucky and both of his teammates now just rushing down in the lower tunnel side, and they get the Barrels player and Volti, the last one left remaining with the weaker weapon, the UMP, against both of these rifles, but they aren't expecting him to be holding deep into construction, and he has that UMP. Let's see what he can do with it. They bait him out with the bomb plant, but he just tries to circle himself around, but Robbie still gets the bomb plant down. So this last remaining T, all he has to do is hold this bomb site against Volti, and he's starting to get a little bit anxious, doesn't know where this last T could be. It's enough time that's passed where he can just rotate all around him, but again, the anxiety's kicking in, and Chucky peeks him early, and Volti gets taken down early as well, and the man that rushed down construction gets taken out. And Volti, although he tried to push up on a little bit of a flank, 4TheTeam still getting him with the 7th round on T-side. 2 rounds away from winning $100, 50 each. No taxes included. The Canadian government can go die in a hole at this point, as they're just dead anyways. Volti on Toxic Barrels, the flash coming in. Can they get it? The Molotov coming in the lower side. Both of these CT players just out in the open. Chucky getting one. Volti, last one remaining. Once again, the M4 having to contend against both of these players. Scouting out the first man. Can he get the second man? No, he can't. Robbie gets a pick. And now they're just 1 round away from winning $100, 50 each. They might call a panic timeout at this point, trying to find some strat that they can deal with. No, they're not calling any timeouts. Buying a 5.7 with full utility and full armor for Volti. Both of them have full armor and full utility on their side, but both of these T's looking hungry. What can you buy with $50? 3/4 of a PlayStation 4 game, that's enough for them. Chucky and his teammate rushing with that rifle, and he gets the first pick. Now Milorad gonna have to keep his team alive in this tournament. Can he do it? He can't get the SG player! And 4TheTeam wins this best of 5, wins $100. And through all of these 50 teams that we've seen so far, 9 kills for Volti and 4 for Milorad, but both of the kill distributions on the T side are ever so even. We have gone through 50 teams. This tournament was quite the game of attrition. It went on almost forever, but 4TheTeam beating out all of these players, and they've kept their names consistent. At least I hope they've kept their profile pictures consistent and easy to pronounce. And they've played the standard maps. We've seen the map pool just as an absolute horror show, an absolute shit show. It's been Rialto, it's been Lake, it's been everything under the sun. And they've won $100, 50 each for both of them. Great congratulations to both Robbie and Chucky on their side and for their win. It was a very positive tournament to cast, I might add, and might I add that TC Anthson and TC Anakar also casted some games in the past. I'd like to give my condolences to them, as for various reasons they couldn't cast the finals along with me.
and
that is it. Thank you all for watching. The next tournament will be sometime within the next couple months, I presume, maybe even tomorrow. And my name is 3 different things at once. I don't even remember at this point.